who holds a distinguished named chair. She's a phenomenal mentor to many, many students, and graduate students, undergraduates and graduate students. And she's a visionary leader, which is why we're all here. It was because 4 years ago she had the vision, the energy, and the foresight to realize that this is an important conversation to have, that these events are not one-off events, but this is part of a sustained conversation around race, around social justice, and they've been hugely impactful for the campus, for the students, and for the community. So I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Myers, for your amazing work and leadership in this event and on the campus generally. Thank you. I also want to thank our special guests, Doctors Hinojosa, Felipe Hinojosa. Bienvenido, welcome to Indiana. I hope this is the first of many visits. And I'd like to thank also my colleagues, Dr. Eden Medina, for moderating tonight, Dr. Marianne Camp, also for participating in tonight's panel, and doctoral student Ko Dokmai for joining us as well on behalf of Wandaki Hoosiers. So, speaking not as a vice provost, but as a historian, and forgive me if I start to pontificate history and all of that, I think it is important to reflect on the historical moment in which we live. It seems almost trite and yet necessary to say that we live in an age of distressing social and political division. It's an era marked by violence and vitriol directed toward any number of groups. Blacks and brown people, black people, brown people, LGBTQ+, communities, women, immigrants, Muslims, asylum seekers, just to name a few. As a historian, I think it's important to recognize that the struggle for basic human rights and full inclusion in the body politic is not a recent development. It's not a single unified struggle. Instead, it's many intersecting struggles, generations in the making, comprised of groups working separately or occasionally in coalition with one another. Hatred towards immigrants is nothing particularly new. It dates to 1790, to the Naturalization Act of that year. It dates to the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, or to the subsequent immigration restrictive laws of the 19-teens and the 1920s that banned immigrants based on their nationality or race or religion. And it dates from the 1930s, when the so-called Mexican problem during the Great Depression was addressed by rounding up 300,000 U.S. residents based on their presumed illegal status and placing them on trains bound for Mexico. Each of these exclusionary moments was made possible by a particular political vocabulary and social climate. In our current moment, we can hear the echoes of that history. Just as in the past, today's political vocabulary and social climate have given rise to odious slogans and simple solutions. 4 years ago, when a certain billionaire announced his bid for the White House, we heard the words that would unleash a torrent of hate and intolerance. I even hesitate to say these words, but I actually think it's important to hear what hate sounds like. He said, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Well, you know the rest of the story, or at least I think in the next 2 hours we'll begin unpacking much of that story and the hateful words and climate that has followed. The title of this event, Borders, Bans, and Babies, America's War on Immigrants, alludes to the multiple ways that nationalism and xenophobia have manifested themselves in our day. in pursuit of a physical wall to embody the psychic and social division that long has separated immigrants, especially Latinas and Latinos, from the body politic. The government has sought numerous restrictions in the banning of asylum seekers or immigrants from predominantly Muslim countries, in efforts to reinterpret the 14th Amendment to effectively eliminate birthright citizenship for children of the undocumented. Much as we like to think these are unprecedented developments, they are the legacy of our past. They are updated versions of the Black codes.